Heartwarming moment. Single dad spends final dollar on diapers. CEO reveals incredible gesture. In the heart of Detroit, where dreams often collide with hard truths, a single dad named Jake just stood in the grocery store, his stomach twisting in knots. With his last remaining dollar, he was ready to buy diapers for his little girl, Lily, her laughter a bright melody in his otherwise tough life as a mechanic. That dollar? It was his whole world. With every clang of the register, Jake felt the weight on his chest tighten. He was determined to keep his daughter's innocence intact, even when his bank account said otherwise. As he fished through his worn pockets, memories flashed through his mind. Lily's tiny hand grasping his finger as they crossed the street, her tiny giggles wafting through their small, messy apartment. The moment he finally grabbed a pack of diapers and tossed it onto the counter, he felt both pride and desperation swirling in his heart. For her, he whispered to himself, taking a deep breath. The cashier recognized the strain in his eyes and offered him a sympathetic smile, something that felt like warmth on a cold day. Meanwhile, across town, Claire, a powerful CEO in a shiny glass tower, came across a viral post about Jake's selfless act. It struck a chord deep within her, a haunting reminder of her father's struggles during her childhood. His sacrifices, his unwavering resolve, qualities she admired but often took for granted. As Claire read the post, her heart sank. She felt a burn of compassion rise within her. I need to help, she thought. If a father can spend everything for his child, surely she could use her resources to make a difference. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the end of the month approached, Jake was suffocating under a mountain of bills, but it was his love for Lily that pushed him forward, keeping him alive. His heart raced as he envisioned her growing up, happy and safe. Would he be able to provide for her? He felt a swell of anxiety, wondering whether the community would rally around families like his or simply shrug it off. Across town, Claire worked late into the night, formulating a citywide diaper drive. It was her way of reaching out, of connecting people who had everything with those who had nothing. But doubts nagged at her. Can a corporate employee like her ever bridge the gap between the affluent and hard-working families like Jake's? As Jake held that pack of diapers in his shaking hands, surrounded by grocery store bustle, he was a man caught in the storm of responsibility, love, and fear. What would become of him and the countless others like him? How much longer could he hold on to hope? The question lingered in the air, asking to be answered. Jake trudged back to his car, the weight of the diapers feeling heavier than the burden of his worries. He glanced at the crinkling pack as he settled into the driver's seat. A small smile broke through, a fleeting sense of accomplishment. Lily would wake up tomorrow, a bright light in his otherwise heavy world. But shadows still loomed. Dinner was nearly due, his rent was overdue, and another bill would soon pour in like a relentless storm. With the engine sputtering to life, he glanced in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see Lily's little face beaming back at him. Instead, there was only the reflection of worry etched into his own. He took a deep breath, trying to steady his thoughts. Just one day at a time, he muttered as he pulled out onto the street, the hum of the city rushing past him like a whirlpool of urgency and despair. Meanwhile, Claire was piecing together contacts, calling nonprofits and local businesses, spreading word of her diaper drive. Each yes she heard felt like a warm hug. Her vision was clear, to create a network where families like Jake's could find support not just for diapers, but for groceries, necessities, a lifeline of community. She felt empowered, a whirlwind of energy coursing through her veins. Still, insecurities crept in like a chilly draft. Did she really understand their struggles? Was she doing this for the right reasons or just to soothe her own guilt? A couple of days passed, and word about the diaper drive began to spread. Posters adorned community boards, bright and hopeful. But as donations started pouring in, Claire recognized a more profound connection forming. Each package represented a story of resilience and determination, a shared vision to uplift instead of simply giving handouts. She had envisioned filling warehouses, but what she longed for was something deeper, a community joining hands. Back at home, Jake fought the cycle of exhaustion as he bathed Lily, the splash of water mirroring his struggles and reminding him that sometimes it's the little things that count. The giggles that erupted from her lips as he shampooed her hair made him momentarily forget the chaos swirling outside their little bubble. "You my little mermaid?" he teased, earning a delighted squeal in response. But as he tucked her into bed later that night, thoughts of bills loomed again, looming darker around the edges of their humble sanctuary. He pondered reaching out to Claire's initiative but hesitated, fearing the stigma of asking for help. What would she think of me? He thought, grappling with pride and desperation. Across town, Claire scrolled through social media, the posts of families impacted by her drive bringing tears to her eyes. Then she stumbled upon a picture of a well-worn, struggling father holding diapers, a picture that struck her hard. It was Jake. A wave of determination surged within her. "I need to find him," she whispered into the quiet of her empty office. Stars glimmered in the night sky, yet for Jake and Claire, a storm was brewing, filled with untold stories and unrecognized strength. Would their paths finally cross? And would the connection between them turn into more than just charity? That question lingered in the air, hoping for change, but unsure how to grasp it. It was a beginning, but a beginning of what? Jake woke up the next morning to the familiar cooing sounds of Lily. Sunlight streamed through the curtains, casting warm shadows on her little face. He ventured to the crib, his heart swelling at the sight of her smiling up at him, a pure embodiment of joy in the chaos of his life. "Good morning, my sweet girl," he said, lifting her into his arms. She wiggled and squealed, and for a brief moment, the weight of responsibilities faded away. After breakfast, Jake faced the day with a newfound determination. He glanced at the overflowing stack of unpaid bills on the kitchen counter, each one a daunting reminder of his struggles. But today felt different. Maybe it was Lily's infectious spirit or the dreams he had of a better future, where he wasn't just surviving but really living. His phone buzzed. He had a message from Claire, an invitation to the community event she was organizing to kick off the diaper drive. "Come join us today. We're creating something special," it read. He hesitated. The thought of attending made him anxious. Crowds were tough and networking was more than he felt he could manage at the moment. But then he glanced at Lily, her curiosity about the world shining brightly, and he considered for the first time that maybe, just maybe, asking for help meant opening the door to unexpected sources of support. "This could be good for us," he said, tilting his head as if he could hear her encouragement. With a deep breath, he replied, "I'll be there." Meanwhile, Claire was a whirlwind of activity as her team prepared for the event. The community center buzzed with excitement, colorful banners fluttering above, families checking in, and volunteers aligning tables filled with donations. Each box of diapers felt like a small victory for her mission. But amidst the enthusiasm bubbled her uncertainty regarding Jake. Was she crossing some invisible line between charity and personal involvement? As people streamed in, Claire's heart raced, the anticipation palpable. She scanned the crowd, searching for a familiar face. The warmth, laughter, and unity enveloped her like a comforting blanket, reminding her why she was doing this. Jake arrived just as a local band struck up a cheerful tune. The music drew Lily's attention, and she squealed, wanting to dance. Jake felt the tension in his chest ease as he watched her sway to the rhythm, her arms flinging joyfully in the air. He didn't notice Claire stepping closer at first, lost in the moment. But as he turned, both their eyes locked, a silent connection shining between them. "Jake," Claire breathed out, a mixture of surprise and warmth. "Hey, Claire," he replied, his voice shaky but earnest. I came because I thought you might need a hand." They exchanged a smile, but behind it lingered complex emotions, Jake's lingering pride and Claire's desire to help without imposing. "Actually, I'm glad you're here," Claire said, the genuine excitement blooming in her eyes. "We can use all the support we can get." Jake's guard began to soften. For the first time, he felt like he could be part of something bigger than just his struggles. As they started to move among the families, He felt overwhelmed but oddly supported, the warmth of community swelling around him. Lily played with other kids, her laughter echoing like a bell, while Claire and Jake talked, sharing bits of their lives and struggles. Every moment deepened their connection, turning initial hesitations into a comforting rhythm. But just as hope blossomed, an unexpected interruption shattered their ease. A man burst into the center, his face twisted in anger, waving a stack of bills that mirrored Jake's own reality. "Where's the help you promised? This is a joke," he shouted, drawing stares and whispers from the crowd. Suddenly, all eyes were on them, anxiety rippling through the gathering. Would this moment break the spirit they had built? Would it send Jake spiraling back into isolation, or could it transform into an opportunity for understanding and connection? Jake and Claire's hearts raced, caught in the storm that demanded resolution. How would they respond? What would this moment reveal about the community they were trying to build and the bond blossoming between them? Jake's heart plummeted as he heard the man's voice pierce the vibrant atmosphere of joy. Claire's expression shifted, a mix of shock and concern painted across her face. It was as if someone had flipped the switch on a lively party, plunging them into a world of tension. "Sir, please, let us talk about this," Claire said, stepping forward, her voice steady but laced with urgency. The community spirit they had fostered seemed to teeter on the edge, and she refused to let it crumble. "What good is talking going to do? I need help now," the man retorted, his fists shaking with a fury fueled by desperation. Jake's stomach twisted. He could see the anxious faces in the crowd, whispers darting like frightened birds. He clear as day recognized that desperation. He had felt it himself too many times. The man's pain was an unwelcomed reminder of his own struggles. "Wait," Jake called out, surprising even himself. The room went silent, all eyes shifting to him. "I know you feel like you've been forgotten, but these events there for us to come together and support one another. Maybe Claire can help you work through this." Anger flickered in the man's eyes but melted a bit under Jake's earnest gaze. "I've heard that before." "I know," Jake replied, stepping closer, feeling his legs shake slightly under the scrutiny. "But fighting won't solve anything. Trust me, I've been at the bottom before too. Let us try to find a solution together." Claire nodded, stepping to Jake's side, a solid presence beside him. "We want this to work for everyone," she added, her voice calm yet passionate. "I promise we'll do what we can." The man shifted, his shoulders dropping slightly. "You don't get it. I can't wait. My kids, they need this." "There's no denying how hard this is," Jake said, energy coursing through him, remembering Lily's laugh, the small joys that kept him afloat. "But maybe together, we can find a way forward. You don't have to go through this alone." Jake's words hung in the air, a fragile thread connecting them. After a moment, the fire in the man's eyes dimmed, replaced by a flicker of hope. I don't know where to turn." In that moment, a child's giggle spilled from the nearby play area, cutting through the heaviness. Jake turned to see Lily pouring her heart into a game of pretend, completely unbothered by the chaos swirling around her. It struck him hard. This was the beauty of community, the importance of nurturing those connections. "Let us find some help," Claire said, her determination like a beacon. "We can connect you with resources, people who truly want to make a difference." Jake nodded, and slowly, the crowd began to murmur agreement, voices shared in solidarity. He felt a warmth spread as the initial tension started to dissipate. Maybe this was the moment they could take back from the brink. In that charged atmosphere, a few brave souls stepped forward, offering their hands to the man, while others quietly reassured one another. The community once again demonstrated its heartbeat, strong yet gentle. As the man accepted Claire's offer to talk, Jake's heart raced with possibility. Perhaps this struggle could be a turning point, not just for him but for others, weaving threads of connection stronger than their individual battles. They stood together, a patchwork community stitched with hardship and hope. Then, just when Jake felt a flutter of genuine optimism stirring within him, a loud crash echoed from the back of the center. Heads turned, eyes widened. Jake's stomach dropped again as he and Claire exchanged worried looks. "What now?" Would the community's moment of connection be overshadowed once more? As Jake took a deep breath, preparing to confront whatever new chaos loomed, he silently wondered, could this day truly turn into something impactful after all? Jake's mind raced as the crash reverberated through the air, slicing through the fragile truce they had just built. People began to murmur in confusion, glancing toward the source of the noise. He could see the tension creeping back, shadows of doubt flickering in their eyes. Unable to shake his nervousness, he stepped away from the man and Claire, moving toward the back of the room to assess the situation. There, amidst scattered chairs and fallen decorations, a young woman had stumbled, her arms flailing as she tried to regain her balance. She was cradling a baby in one arm and a collection of items in the other, but now everything lay strewn across the floor like shattered dreams. The crowd gasped, and for a moment, Jake thought time had stopped. He approached slowly, his heart in his throat as he knelt beside her. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked, his voice softer than he intended. The woman looked up, worry pooling in her eyes. "I'm fine. I was trying to carry too much." She paled as she surveyed her dropped belongings, diapers, formula, and a weathered stuffed animal. "Can I help you?" he offered, moving quickly to gather the items. As he bent down, Jake noticed the little boy, wide-eyed and clinging to his mother, fear written all over his face. "Mommy," the child's trembling voice tugged at Jake's heartstrings. "It's all right, sweetie. Just a little bump," she replied, trying to offer him a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "See? We're all here," Jake assured him, his comforting tone aimed at bridging the gap between fear and safety. "Why don't you help me pick up your things?" The boy nodded, a flicker of bravery igniting within him as he reached for a fallen diaper. Encouraged, Jake joined in the effort, a small chain of support forming around the woman as others moved in to lift scattered items from the floor. As they cleaned up, Jake caught a glance back at Claire. She stood resolutely with the man now, her hands gesturing as she spoke earnestly. It was a stark reminder of how each person in that room faced their own battles, while still finding ways to connect. Once everything was back in order, Jake helped the woman to her feet. She smiled gratefully at him. "Thank you. I'm sorry this day is supposed to be about community, but sometimes I feel so lost." Jake understood that feeling well. "We all have our moments," he said. "But the fact that you're here, reaching out, that's what really matters. We'll make it through together." In that shared moment, a spark of resilience ignited in the air. The crowd began to relax again, and the earlier tension faded. Jake saw the man take a deep breath, and it was clear this small act of kindness was rippling outward, reigniting the sense of unity. Suddenly, the sound of laughter erupted from the play area once more, as Lily rallied other kids to join her in an impromptu game. The joyful noise filled the space, lightening everyone's hearts, but just as Jake started to feel that the momentum had shifted back toward positivity, a loud voice boomed from the entrance. "What is going on here?" Jake's heart sank again as he recognized the voice. It belonged to the center's director, someone whose skepticism about community efforts loomed over every event. There would be no escaping the scrutiny now. Jake turned to Claire, her expression mirroring his own concern. They had fought for connection today, but what would happen now? Could they hold on to the progress they had made, or would judgment rip it apart once again? The answer was hanging in the air as they braced themselves for whatever would come next. The director strode into the room, arms crossed and brow furrowed. Her sharp gaze swept over the crowd, lingering on Jake, Claire, and the young mother who still looked shaken. The laughter of the children faded under the weight of her presence, replaced by an uneasy silence that felt like a thick fog. "What's all this commotion?" she demanded, her tone cutting through the air. "We're supposed to have a peaceful gathering, not a circus." Jake felt the knot in his stomach tighten. He noticed the woman beside him flinch, the little boy clinging closer to her leg. What was supposed to be a moment of togetherness suddenly transformed into a trial. "We were just helping," Jake said, stepping forward, hoping to take control of the situation before it spiraled. "A woman tripped, and we all pitched in. Everything is fine." "Is it?" The director shot back, her eyebrows raised. "Because it looks to me like you've created chaos," and I won T have that during a community event. The words stung like a slap, but Jake held his ground. He glanced around to find Claire's expression fraught with worry, and he could feel the weight of the crowd's eyes on them, searching for a leader. Sometimes, things get messy when we try to help, Claire interjected, finding her voice amid the rising tension. What matters is that people are trying to connect. Isn't that why we're all here? But at what cost? The director replied, swinging her gaze to Claire. What if this leads to more issues? Do you want your names attached to a disruption? Jake's heart sank. The air felt charged, heavy with an unspoken challenge. He could see that other people in the crowd were beginning to murmur, glancing at each other uncomfortably. Look around, Jake urged, his voice steady but his heart racing. Everyone's here searching for something: connection, support, simply a place to belong. We're working toward that. We're trying to be a part of something bigger. Bigger? The director's voice dripped with skepticism. Are we really putting our faith in a room full of people struggling to keep their lives together? A murmur of discontent rippled through the audience, igniting a flame of defensiveness. Jake could feel a shift in unity among those who had gathered. It wasn't just about him or Claire anymore, it was about everyone who had shown up with their own stories and hurt. He took a deep breath, feeling a rush of determination. Yes, we are struggling, he said, the warmth of sincerity filling his voice. But it's meeting those struggles that creates strength. It's in our imperfections that we find community. Every person here matters and brings something valuable. The room fell silent, a tangible pause stretched between him and the director. For a moment, Jake dared to imagine what it would feel like if she could see things differently, if her tough exterior could melt into understanding. The young mother stepped forward, emboldened by Jake's words. I may not have much, but today, I felt valued and cared for. Isn't that worth fostering? Around the room, nods of agreement began to ripple through the crowd. The children resumed their play in the background, oblivious to the adult world's tensions, laughter bubbling up anew. Jake turned to meet Claire's encouraging gaze, bolstered by the shifting tides of sentiment. Maybe they had a chance after all. Just then, the director's expression changed, a flicker of something: recognition, perhaps? It faded quickly, replaced by her usual stoic demeanor. This is not over, she warned before she turned on her heel and strode back toward the entrance, leaving the door swinging behind her. The crowd released a collective breath, emotions swirling in the aftermath of that confrontation. Jake knew that shadowy doubt still loomed, but he felt a flame of hope igniting among the people around him. As the laughter of children filled the space once more, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. They had stood their ground, but what would the director do next? With determination etched on his heart, Jake faced the room, ready to rally everyone together for whatever challenge lay ahead. The tension in the room began to lift as the children's laughter bubbled up like fragile, sweet notes in a song. Jake took a moment to notice the faces around him. His eyes met Claire's, and he saw hope flickering there, a comforting glow amid anxiety. Jake, what now? She asked quietly, leaning in to avoid the encroaching anxious murmurs from the crowd. She glanced over her shoulder at the young mother who was now kneeling beside her son. What do we do with this? How do we keep the momentum? Jake swallowed hard, aware the director wouldn't be easily deterred. We keep talking, he decided, a spark of resolve igniting within him. Let us share our stories, our struggles. Every struggle holds a piece of the puzzle, and together, we can create something beautiful. That sounds good, Claire said, her smile widening. But let us make it a safe space. Not just for us, but for others who need to feel welcome too. Jake nodded. Right. Let's start right here and now. He turned towards the group, heart racing as he stepped into the center of the room. He felt all eyes on him, the crowd's anticipation urging him forward. Thank you all for staying. I know things have felt tense today, but that's okay. Real emotions run deep. Who here has something to share? We have all faced challenges, and those experiences hold power. They can inspire. Silence enveloped them once more, heavy and weighted with uncertainty. Then, a woman toward the back, a newcomer with tired eyes, took a deep breath. I lost my job last month. Her voice trembled, drawing Jake's attention. I've been struggling to make ends meet. It's hard to ask for help when you feel so broken. Jake's heart cracked open, recognizing that struggle. You're not alone. We've all been there. I've had my own battles, and this community can only grow stronger by talking about them. Just as he finished, a young man raised his hand, eyes glistening. I just got out of rehab, he confessed slowly. I'm fighting hard to stay sober, but sometimes it feels like I'm drowning. The room shifted. A palpable connection began to weave through the crowd, full of shared understanding. One by one, others joined in, adding their voices to the conversation. Jake listened intently, every story shaping the air, binding them together in a tapestry of realities. Claire chimed in, her voice bright and soothing. We are all here because we believe in each other. Every hardship we face can become a stepping stone towards something better. As the stories continued to unfurl, Jake felt the walls of apprehension slowly dissolving. He watched the young mother from earlier. Her face softened, tears glinting like jewels in her eyes. She spoke of feeling isolated and alone, of struggling to keep her head above water, but through it all, she also shared her hopes for the future. By the time they wrapped up, the atmosphere in the room had shifted completely. Laughter mingled with tears, and conversations collided into hopes and dreams, igniting a shared purpose. They were a community, not just individuals lost in their struggles, but while the energy was uplifting, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that they were still being watched. The director's words echoed in his mind. This was just a beginning, but her warning loomed larger than before. What would happen when she returned? As they all began to rise, hopeful voices lingering in the air, he felt Claire slip her hand into his. Whatever happens next, we face it together, right? Jake squeezed her hand back, heart heavy yet hopeful. Together. But even as he spoke, the door creaked open again, catching everyone's attention. Would it be the director back for round 2? Or someone else entirely, bringing more light or more chaos to the gathering? A figure appeared in the doorway, momentarily silhouetted by the soft light behind them. Jake's heart thumped loudly in his chest as he squinted, trying to make out who it was. As the person stepped forward, he could see it was not the director. Instead, it was a well-dressed woman, radiating an aura of confidence. She was someone he recognized from the community board meetings, a sponsor who often made promises but had rarely followed through. Hi there. She said brightly, her voice cutting through the tension like a knife. I just got word of what's going on in here. I couldn't miss this. I want to hear the stories. Murmurs spread through the crowd, some curious and others skeptical. Jake felt a wave of uncertainty wash over him. Could she genuinely care? Was this just a search for some feel-good appearance for her social media feed? Claire stepped forward, as though sensing Jake's hesitation. We're sharing our experiences, real ones. It's not a party or a photo op. Her tone was firm, yet calm, a reminder of the safety they had established within these walls. The woman's smile didn't falter. I get it, and I respect that. Please, I'm here to listen. Echoes of stories hung in the air like an unfinished symphony. Each person had shown vulnerability. It was a raw, heartfelt exposition of lives intertwined by hardship and hope. Jake wanted this moment to thrive, but could they trust her? As if she could read his mind, the woman continued, I understand that it's important to create a space where every voice matters. I'm not here to take that away, I'm here to help amplify it. Jake caught Claire's eye again. There was something reassuring about the warmth in her gaze, something contagious. Maybe she can help us find ways to support the community, he said, weighing his words carefully. If she really wants to be part of this, we'll need to see that commitment. Exactly. Claire nodded, her grip tightening around Jake's hand. If you want to be part of us, let us start with a real conversation. No more corporate slogans or empty promises. This is real life. We share our stories, we want to hear yours too. As murmurs of approval echoed through the group, the woman stepped closer, her expression shifting to one of genuine interest. I promise you, I'm here to show I can help. Tell me what you need. Jake felt the atmosphere tingle with a mix of anxiety and excitement. There was potential in the air, a chance to expand their reach, to invite more people into this ever-growing circle of hope. I think we need a plan, Jake suggested, his voice gaining strength. A way to sustain what we've started here today. Maybe even programs for those who've shared their struggles, resources for training, housing, and something for the children, too. People nodded in agreement, mumbling in excitement. A shared energy pulsed through the room, igniting a flame of ideas that blossomed in the minds of those present. The woman's eyes sparkled with possibilities, and a flicker of enthusiasm crossed her face. I think we can work together on this. Let us not just talk, but strategize. Let us reach out to those in need. The crowd rallied, voices beginning to rise with proposals and suggestions, a collective desire for action. But just as things were boiling over with excitement, Jake felt a shift in the air again, a cold breeze whispering past him, reminding him of the director still out there, somewhere. What if we're interrupted again? Jake wondered aloud, glancing toward the door. Claire's expression turned serious as she whispered, if she comes back, we need to be ready, Jake. Ready to show that this isn't just a fleeting moment. This is our space, our story. The momentum was palpable, but with it came an undercurrent of unease. Jake had felt this before, the creeping sensation that the real test was still to come. Would the warmth of today survive the storm on the horizon? As they began to draft their plan, the room buzzing with ideas and energy, a chilling thought struck Jake. Was their newfound community about to face a challenge greater than any of them could imagine? Just then, a loud bang echoed outside the hall. Everyone fell silent, eyes wide and breaths held. What now? The noise rattled through the room like a gunshot in the night. Conversations ground to a halt, and the air thickened with tension. Jake's heart raced as he turned his gaze towards the door, his instincts screaming that something was wrong. The well-dressed woman's demeanor shifted slightly, subtle but noticeable. A flicker of uncertainty crossed her features. What was that? Someone whispered, breaking the silence that had clamped down on them. The group collectively strained to listen, a mixture of fear and curiosity hanging thick like fog. Out of the corner of his eye, Jake noticed Claire tense beside him, her fingers tightening around his. He could feel the uncertainty radiating off her like heat. Stay calm, he urged, his voice steady, though inside he was anything but. We need to understand what's happening before we react. But before anyone could respond, the door swung open again, this time with a force that sent a shudder through the floorboards. The director stepped inside, wildly scanning the crowd with a fierce intensity. His eyes lit on the woman, narrowing as if he'd spotted an unwanted intruder. What are you doing here? He barked, his tone harsh and accusatory. The well-dressed woman remained unfazed, her smile morphing into a look of determination. I'm here to listen, she said brightly, yet there was an edge to her voice. And to find ways to help this community. The director scoffed, rolling his eyes. Help? You think you can just waltz in here and pretend to care? Jake felt the tension explode around them. Murmurs erupted, a chaotic chorus of confusion, annoyance, and even support mingling into one. Claire stepped forward, her hands still clutched in Jake's, and raised her voice above the noise. She's right. We're sharing our stories, and this group is about more than just one person's opinion, including yours. The director scoffed again, but Claire's defiance caught many off guard. This is our community. We deserve a chance at real change. Not just threats or meaningless promises. If you care at all, you'll listen. Jake's heart thudded in his chest as he glanced around the room. Eyes flickered with fear, but there was anger brewing as well. They weren't going to be pushed around anymore. The director bristled, but before he could retort, the woman spoke again, her voice firm. If you truly care about this community, then let us talk about how we can all work together. It's not just your vision that matters. For a moment, silence hung between them. Jake breathed deeply, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. Was this really happening? It felt surreal, their community standing tall against the very people who claimed to have authority over them. Just then, another sound broke through the fray, a moaning of metal scraping against metal. The crowd shifted toward it, eyes wide with concern. The noise was growing louder, and panic fluttered around the room as faces turned pale. "What now?" someone called out, voice trembling. Jake instinctively raised his hands, trying to calm the crowd. "Stay together. We can face whatever this is if we do it as a team." Another loud bang reverberated, this one closer. It seemed to ripple through the very foundation of the building. Laughter turned to sobs, apprehension replaced by primal fear. Claire pressed closer to Jake, her voice barely a whisper. "Jake, what is happening? Is it safe here? Are we in danger?" His pulse quickened. He didn't know. But he did know one thing: they couldn't let fear divide them, not when they had just started to find strength in one another. But as the unsettling noises continued, Jake realized that this wasn't just about trust anymore. It was about survival. "What is coming our way?" he asked aloud, his gaze fixed on the door. Suddenly, there was a deafening crash, and all eyes turned as the door burst open, revealing a figure drenched in shadow. What was he going to say next? The figure stepped inside, the remnants of chaos swirling behind him like storm clouds. Everyone's breath caught in their throats as silence enveloped the room, a silence thick with dread and uncertainty. It was a local contractor, Ben, and his eyes ignited with desperate urgency. The tension shattered like glass. "We've got trouble. The city is making cuts, and the funding for our center is in jeopardy." His voice was hoarse, fear shadowing his features. Gasps erupted among the crowd. In that moment, Jake's heart plummeted. Everything they had fought for, all the connections they had begun to weave through shared stories, could unravel in the blink of an eye. His thoughts raced, panic mingling with determination. Claire squeezed his hand tighter, a silent vow exchanged between them. "What can we do?" she called out, her voice steady despite the whirlwind around them. Ben shook his head, anxiety radiating from him. "We need to gather support, community engagement, testimonies. The city needs to see how much this place matters." Jake scanned the frightened faces in the crowd. What they experienced together that day showed them the power they held, not just as individuals, but as a collective. "This is why we're here," he declared, rising to his feet. "Our stories are powerful. We all want this place to thrive. Let us show them what we've built." The collective murmurs shifted from fear to fervor as Jake's words resonated. "Share your struggles. Share your hopes. Today, we unite our voices." One by one, hands began to rise, people eager to speak their truths, pouring their hearts out in front of the gathered crowd. Their tales of resilience echoed throughout, laced with moments of vulnerability, painting an intricate tapestry of lives intertwined by painful histories but also stitched with hope. The well-dressed woman stepped forward, her notebook out, scrubbing urgent notes. Claire's eyes shone with conviction as she joined Jake in rallying the room. "Together, we can make the city hear us. We can create a petition, gather signatures. We're going to show them how much this center means to us and our families." The crowd erupted in excited agreement. Plans materialized amid rising voices. They would utilize social media, connect with local news, engaging the whole community to stand with them. Strength blossomed in the air, the fear ebbing like a tide. With their enthusiasm soaring, Jake's heart raced. Could they truly turn this storm into an opportunity? He felt a fresh wealth of courage flow through him as the lines of camaraderie reinforced their resolve. As they began to strategize, Claire leaned in closer, whispers brushing against Jake's ear. "We have to act fast. Let us host a gathering in the park tomorrow, an open event where everyone can share, someone from the city can hear us. We'll bring food, music, make it a celebration of our unity." "Yes. A celebration," Jake echoed, exhilaration sparking him alive. "Not just a fight, but a show of our community's strength." Ben looked more hopeful, though still worried. "I can help with logistics. My brother runs a catering company. I can reach out for food donations." Together, the crowd buzzed with more ideas, working diligently to forge a plan. The shadows that had felt so oppressive moments before were no longer looming, they were now merely glimpses of what had been, existing only to give way to something brighter. Through the gleam of determination, Jake felt a life beyond survival begin to blossom. He caught a glimpse of Lily's carefree laughter echoing in his mind, propelling him forward. They were building a future not just for today, but for every child in their community as they all fought for a better tomorrow. And as they laid the connections, as they mingled their stories, Jake knew this was more than just a single battle, it was the beginning of a movement. The darkness that had hung over the community was shifting. Outside, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow inside the center, a gentle reminder that every end holds a new beginning. As laughter and excitement filled the space, he glanced at Claire, feeling gratitude deep within him. "Together," he said, pulling her close, "we're going to make a difference." And she smiled back, shining like a beacon of hope in the dimming light. Because they weren't just two individuals anymore, they were part of a community resolved to rise together. As the evening unfolded, Jake took a moment to look around, the faces of his newfound family shining with hope, and felt a warmth settle in his heart. They were about to embark on something monumental. This moment was theirs. This was just the beginning. So don't wait, subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support for our powerful journey. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. And share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to spread this message. This is the moment to show the strength of our community. Don't wait not even one more second to share.